The city of Calgary once again embraced the Gaudreau family as they came to town to pay tribute to their late sons, Johnny and Matthew.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jessica Belmosto, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Today, we're going to talk about the game against the Columbus Blue Jackets and do a little bit of a different recap because we obviously have a lot to talk about in terms of the pregame ceremony that took place, as well as the special dedication to Johnny and Matthew at the Flames Community Rink. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your Calgary Flames every day. And let's dive right into it. I do want to say thank you for everyone who's sticking around. I didn't have episodes out earlier this week due to a family emergency, and those who sent your well wishes, I greatly appreciate it, and could definitely keep those coming for the next few weeks. That would be nice and appreciated. And thank you all. Time and time again, you proved that Calgary is just an incredible fan base as well as an amazing city. And that, I would say, absolutely was on display in the pregame ceremonies for Johnny and Matthew. This was the first time that the Gaudreau family has been back in Calgary since losing their two sons, and it was very emotional. I think everybody kind of knew that was going to be the case. Even the home opener was emotional when they played a tribute video for Johnny, and, but last night was dedicated entirely to his time in Calgary. And I think it's absolutely beautiful that both teams came out in the Gaudreau jerseys and for warm-ups, and then to have Sean Monahan and Michael Backlund face off was really, for the opening, for the ceremonial puck drop, was very, meaningful. Obviously, Backlund and the three of them really all played together. John, he played with Backlund his whole time in Calgary, and obviously him and Sean Monahan are good friends, or were good friends, and it's hard. Everyone was crying. You could see both Backlund and Monahan crying, and I truly don't understand how you play a hockey game after that. It very raw and emotional. It was great to see Guy and Jane. They did an interview with Ryan Leslie, and to see them as upbeat and pleasant, I guess would be a good way to describe it, was really, it's nice to see, and just to kind of, they love Calgary and what the city did for their son, but also the family as a whole during John's time as a Flame. And, Guy was out with the morning skate group 2 times and basically told them that they need to start scoring. Coleman, I'm pretty sure it was Blake Coleman who said they asked him for some pointers because he clearly did such a good job teaching Johnny how to score. And Rasmus Anderson scored the opening goal and pointed up to the suite where the whole family was. And in the post-game press conference, media availability, he said that that's the most emotional goal he's ever scored. We don't see this side of hockey players very often. like the human element. And I truly wish it didn't have to be like this. Honestly, it's not fair. And, just absolutely beautiful to see the donations that came together, redistributed throughout the community, whether it be the jerseys and shirts that were turned into blankets, the purple Gatorade bottles that ended up being donated and recycled to local groups, and obviously the hockey sticks being turned into benches, and the first bench being at the Flames community rink and being dedicated to Matthew and Johnny. It's beautiful. The city really came together, and I knew I loved Calgary before, without any doubt in my mind, but for the community to come together like that immediately within hours was really beautiful. And I did see Meredith Gaudreau did an interview with Ryan Leslie as well, and she got her first tattoo in Calgary, and it is Johnny's signature. And I think that that's really neat. She made a comment about how like his signature will live forever, and it's kind of like a full circle moment, because this is Calgary's where his autograph became a thing, like where it became his autograph. So it's really tough to obviously, like, I mean, as fans, we know like our favorite hockey player isn't here anymore. Like that's tough. That's not fun. That's not a good feeling. But now imagine for how heavy it is for these families. And it's not just one, it's two. And it was it's just beautiful to see how they're carrying on. And I know it's not always like this. Everyone grieves differently. And I just want to remind you all to be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves. If you've had a beer, I don't care if it's one or two, please call an Uber or find a designated driver. We don't need any more tragic losses that are completely preventable. But coming up next, we're going to talk about the game a little bit more in depth here with our difference makers and who did what last night's game. We'll be right back after this. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if that $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. I love how easy the FanDuel app is to use, to navigate, to log in, log out, and just have everything I'm possibly looking for, whether it's a same game parlay or if it's a specific bet, whatever the case is, it is right there. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you are subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. And the Flames snapped their 4-game losing streak last night. I was writing my recap for Offside News, and I didn't really talk about the losses, but just last week I had written about how they won 4 in a row at home, and it was great. Everything was fantastic, and then they go and lose 4 straight, and then they come back home to win. So, it's experience Calgary Flames hockey, let's be honest. But last night was very special. We knew it was going to be an intense, emotional game, regardless of the outcome. But for the Flames to score 3 goals, 2 on the power play, 2 power play goals, 2 power play goals. And we're going to talk more about this a little bit later. But what? It was just incredible. And for Dan Vladar to get a shutout, fantastic. It was a really good way to celebrate last night, and I'm glad they won. Definitely a good game to win. And I mean, there were difference makers, I would say. I think the emotions were there for everyone last night. There was, not that there's not a reason to win every night, but they played like their favorite person was watching them. And it showed. And I think, honestly, the first difference maker was the Gaudreau family. I think their presence being there was very inspiring for a lot of the guys. I think, there's only a handful of players remaining that were there when Johnny was still a Flame. But, Rasmus Anderson is a very close family friend. Blake Coleman's a really close friend. It's tough. It's not necessarily something you ever imagine happening, but I think that the way that everyone has rallied around each other during this tough time has made a difference to everyone. And I'm so proud of Rasmus Anderson. There was just something in the air last night. We know Rasmus Anderson loves to score a good goal. We know that he loves the stare down. But last night's stare down was a little bit different. He scored the goal. It was an assist from Backlund, another former teammate of Johnny, and he pointed right up to their suite where the Gaudreaus were. It's just a stark reminder that it's so much bigger than 2 points at the end of regulation, the end of the game. You could have 1 goal or you could have 15. Last night was for the boys, was for the Gaudreau family. I think both teams played a good game. Given the circumstances, like, had the Flames lost, I would still be giving them the benefit of the doubt because of, again, the circumstances. But I think every single person on the ice last night did something meaningful, impactful. And I know it's like kind of a cop-out to like break off the pieces of the homecoming queen crown and like give it out to everyone. But I think, last night was a true team effort. Kevin Ball scored his first as a Flame, which is nuts. Okay. Jacob Pelletier and Walker Dewar made their season debuts. Andrei Kuzmenko was scratched. Interesting. But it felt like last night was a tried and true team effort. And I don't want to say it feels like that's the first game in a while where it felt like that, but it felt like they were able to like get up for this one and, really put some oomph into it. I do think that obviously we're going to talk about it coming up next here in a little bit, but the fact that the power play has been scoring consistently, I believe it's up to 7 games in a row now, 7, 8, which honestly, considering they were going 7, 8 games without a power play goal, like I will take it. Do I think the penalty kill still needs some help? Yeah, of course. I don't think there's ever going to be another Flames power play like the one that we had with Kristen. Oh, I'm going to be grieving that for the rest of my life. Literally, that penalty kill for those few years was so good and so special. Just that whole like era of Flames, like from like 2020 to 2022, 23. Really special. And I hope that we're able to dig deep and find that magic again soon, because it feels like this group is special. It does. I think that, to be a group of young guys and plenty of veterans that came in as like draft lottery favorites and being in a playoff spot. I mean, like, no one saw this coming. Do I think it's sustainable? That's a whole nother episode, but no. Long story short, no. I truly feel like last night was one of the first games of the season where every single person was doing the right thing at the right time. And I want to see more of that. I think it's there. I think they removed a piece of the equation and we're able to make a good substitution, and adding speed in Dewar and Pelletier does things to your lineup, and you tangibly saw the difference. And that's a big thing. I don't know if you guys know that, but that's a very big thing. But coming up next, we're going to wrap up the show with my favorite segment called By the Numbers, where we are breaking down last night's game and with some numbers and talking about any patterns we noticed or anything that stood out. Coming up next here on Locked On Flames. Prize Picks is the best place to get in on the real sports action, the real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just need to pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season, and you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus, which I love. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me on today's episode of Locked On Flames. Make sure you're following me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Jessica Belmosto. The Flames won 3-0 over the Columbus Blue Jackets and held the Blue Jackets to 16 shots through 60 minutes. They only had 22 shots, but the fact that it's a little lopsided, I would say, is pretty good. I still cannot believe that they scored 2 power play goals. I'm sorry, but that does not seem like something this team was capable of a month ago. I feel like over the last month, we have seen something different with the power play. And I do not know if it's because they're shooting, if it's because they've just played better, or what the situation is, but I love it, and I think we need to see more of it. They absolutely dominated in faceoffs last night. 59.6% versus Columbus's 40%. Last week we were talking about them only having like 41% wins. And in the face-offs last night, or sorry, in a game a few weeks last week, I believe it was. And it was hard. It was very hard to watch and it was noticeable. So shout out to the Flames for being able to win a face-off, because some nights it feels like it's never going to happen. And I do think that it's absolutely bananas. The Flames, the only goal that they allowed was called back. The Flames video coach, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know his name. But he deserves a raise for Christmas. He deserves a nice iPad, a nice TV, a nice comprehensive eye exam to keep those eyes sharp, to make sure he continues to see the offside calls and things like that. We really got to get more of that. Make sure that that's good, because he has been nearly undefeated in coaches' challenges this season. Just unreal. I still can't get over the game against Edmonton where there were 3 overturned goals in the first 25 minutes of the game. But they snapped a 4-game losing streak, which felt so good. And to do it on a night as special as the Gaudreau tribute, I think means a lot to the team. I think that it proves that, they're capable of rising to the occasion. And I think that that's, a question that people have wondered with this team and over again, regardless of who's even on the roster. But the question is always, can they find it within themselves to get there? And last night they did. For Vladar to have earned a shutout against a team that has been very offensive. They've been solid goal scorers recently. So I think that that's great. And again, it speaks to the Flames defense. It speaks to the Flames goaltending. I will take it where we can get it. I also noticed that the Flames outshot Columbus in the first 2 periods. And then they were outshot in the third, which is very unusual because the Flames' best, I use that very lightly, best period of a game is typically the third period recently. They only generated 5 shots, but, I'm going to take it. One of those 5 shots did turn into Kevin Ball's power play goal, and then, Igor Sharangovich did have his empty netter. But it's just nice to see them get on the board and come out with a win. I think that that's kind of that's been one of the challenges. It's not necessarily something that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Unchangeable. You can absolutely fix that. But Mackenzie Weegar blocked 3 shots last night. Same with Kevin Ball. Just looking at the blocks and hits, and Mackenzie Weegar had 3 giveaways. That's very unlike Weegar. Obviously, Vladar stopped all 16 shots. It just felt right last night. The Flames played great on both ends of the ice, and they got what they needed. I think that this, obviously going forward it really is just one game at a time. But I think last night you can kind of use that to your advantage and say, we did it that night, so let's continue to do it for this family. And I think that goes a long way. And I do just want to say thank you to everyone who's listened to the show this year in any capacity. It has been a very long year for Flames fans. And I know that a lot of us are trying to see the positive with this team, and I commend you. I commend us because it's not always easy, but if there's one thing we're going to do, it's make lemonade out of lemons. I think it's definitely something that we can continue to do. The future is bright. Future is very bright for the Flames. I'm so excited to see Dewar and Pelletier called up. You know what I need to see? Zary centering Pelletier and Coronado. That is something I need to see. The kid line, we can call it the kid line. Steph, if you're listening, shout out to you for coming up with that. I think that line would be so incredible and so talented, so fast and productive. That is something we need. Ryan Huska, give me a call. I'll help you create any line combination and justify it to you. Will we see Andrei Kuzmenko scratched again? Martin Pospisil did miss today, practice today because of just a maintenance day. So we'll see. And the Flames take on the St. Louis Blues tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, tomorrow. Oh my goodness. My week is all thrown off. The holiday last week really put me in a tizzy, but that will do it for me here on today's episode of Locked On Flames. Thank you all so much for tuning in and making Locked On Flames part of your day. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Remember to stay hydrated, stay warm, stay dry, stay cool, whatever the case may be, and remember to be kind.